Hey everyone, we are back at the war table, starting Liliana on an offer from the Crows. The Crows have noticed that we're going after Lord Enzo, and now they're all like, hey, we want to help. We don't like that guy either. The Crows are one of the most notorious assassins leagues, for lack of a better term, out of Antigua. We've ventured back to Emprise du Lion in order to complete one of Cullen's personal quests, which is going to be of great help to us later. We need to clear out the Red Lyrium templars and the Red Lyrium mines in this area. And while we're at it, we're going to free the villagers who have been taken hostage.
Break the locks, please!
Only your rogue can pick the lock, which makes sense, except considering that we're not going to use these wagons for anything, why can't I just melt the lock? Or why can't Cassandra just hack the lock off? Or anything like that. But I guess the easiest thing to do is to pick it. This is a letter from Samson to Paxley, talking about the Red Lyrium and its effects, saying that he understands that it's horrible to watch the soldiers' faces change, that they might not remember you from day to day, but that the ones who make it through are invincible, and that they can spread lyrium at their touch, which makes it all worthwhile and proof that they're on the right path, and to feed elf fruit to the soldiers as much as they want, which should help with the pain.
Let us out!
Please, help me.
You're free. You can run along now.
I can't. My legs are so heavy. I can't move them. The red crystals, I can feel them at the tips of my fingers, beneath my nails, under my eyelids. I know what happens. I have a letter for my love. Would you place it in the hollow of the marked tree by the river? When he returns from the war, he'll know to look there. Let him hate me and move on.
So the Red Templars are not so much mining lyrium as they are growing it out of people, which sometimes kills the people they're growing it out of and always causes a lot of pain.
Where are we again? So I don't come back? You hope you intend to rebuild your Seekers, Cassandra.
Rebuilding is not enough. I would see the Seekers forged into something greater than what they were.
I'm pleased to hear it, my dear. With the Templars all but lost, we'll need someone to deal with dangerous magic.
This is a note talking about how one of the sisters in the local village is actually supplying them with people in exchange for food and stuff like that. However, she's trying to get rid of the elderly, the sick, people who would die anyway, and the Templars don't want those. They want young, healthy individuals ripe for their lyrium harvesting.
My dear Cassandra, I am impressed with how well organized the Inquisition was in the aftermath of the Conclave.
It was chaos. I would hardly call it organized.
Perspective, darling. The Chantry hasn't even found the right vestments for issuing a statement on the Divine's death.
Being more flexible than the Chantry is not a difficult goal.
Take your victories where you can, dear.
Having freed all the workers and driven all the Red Templars from the mines, we're going to head back to Skyhold. I want to start a particular quest in motion, which requires us to open up the Emerald Graves. So far, our cooperation with the Crows is going nicely. They weren't able to kill Lord Enzo himself, but they tracked him down to a storehouse and killed a lot of his men. They've also sent us a little trinket as appreciation. It also unlocked the Missing Assassin quest, which is a letter from Zevran, one of our companions and romanceable options from Dragon Age Origins. He apologizes for killing one of our assassins, and if he had known that he was working for Liliana, he would have at least let the assassin finish the contract. Regardless, he's willing to make it up to us and go through, and as a friend, he'll only charge a fraction of the price for finishing the contract.
Let us begin.
So now we're opening up the Emerald Graves, making contact with a gentleman called Fairbanks, who we're going to talk to at length in a little bit.
Good to see you again, Inquisitor. Hope you've got your comfortable boots on. The scouts have seen a number of Fade rifts all over the forest. We've located this mysterious Fairbanks. He won't share his information with anyone but you. He and his men are camped out at Watcher's Reach, on the path ahead. From what we can tell, they're refugees from the war. Peasants, mostly.
Tell me everything you know about Fairbanks.
We don't know much about him. He appeared after the Civil War started, helping people fleeing from the destruction. Fairbanks is likely not his real name.
Do you know anything else about the region?
They call this place the Emerald Graves. Legend says that a tree grows here for every elven knight of Halam Sharal who perished in its defense. Makes you sad, doesn't it?
We are the last Elven. Never again shall we submit.
Oh, I'm sorry, Inquisitor. I spoke thoughtlessly.
Thank you for the information. I'll head out.
One other thing. A group of deserters from the Imperial armies has established itself here. Freemen of the Dales, they call themselves. They are hostile to the Inquisition, and everyone else. Watch your back, Inquisitor.
Here are some of the freemen. Obviously, they're not very friendly.
It is an honor to meet the Herald of Andraste.
I hope I don't disappoint.
Not at all. But as they say, actions speak louder. As my missive stated, we can help each other. You have encountered the Freemen. Aggressive bastards, no? They've killed a dozen of my people. We've tried to fight, but we cannot match their strength. You can. Why should you care about this, you ask? Because the Freemen are colluding with your enemy.
Which enemy do you mean?
The rogue Templars. I've seen them through the woods, heading for the Freemen bases, leaving with crates. Destroy the Freemen, and they'll lead you straight to the Red Templars. This I promise.
I'll look into this, Fairbanks.
All my information about the Freemen is right here, in our camp. Help us, and everything I know about the Dales, about these woods, I will share with the Inquisition. Inquisitor.
Who are these freemen of the Dales?
Most are deserters from the war, tired of fighting and dying for a cause in which they have no stake. But recently, the Freemen have organized, started attacking anyone and everyone. Their new leaders are driving them to take the Dales for themselves.
What is your opinion of the Civil War?
When I quarrel with my cousin, wine is spilled. Perhaps someone loses a tooth. When Celine feuds with hers, a country is torn apart. Does it matter to a farmer or a woodsman who reigns in Val Royaux? Yet they suffer. We're all weary, Inquisitor.
Tell me about your people.
Simple people. Most have lost family. All have lost their homes. I found a few, helped them, found this cave for shelter. Word spread and more came. We just want to survive.
I need to be going.
I'll be here.
His papers and the information he's willing to give us are right in the cave.
This is one of the people troubling those cave rats.
Naturally, these Red Templars are also kidnapping people, so we need to grab the key and free the prisoners in the back of the cave.
You have it. Please, please open the door. I can't stand it in here another second.
A note. It claims this red lyrium's not coming from the deep roads.
This is one of 3 smuggler letters. These are what I've actually come here for. This one is the first. It's monthly report. It says that the numbers are fantastic, trade's booming with all this lyrium. So what if it's red instead of blue? People are still buying. The mage that they have in their group can look into what the color means. So far, everything for these guys, the ones supplying it, good.
Another letter on the smugglers referring to Samson.
This is from one of the smugglers who actually met Samson. He's saying that Samson wants to double the red lyrium shipment, that he can tell that Samson was a Templar, although he's not wearing chantry armor. But his coin's good and he doesn't preach.
Another letter mentioning Samson, and papers with names. Cullen could use this.
This letter is a letter to the wagon masters telling them to be careful of the red lyrium, that their mage went basically crazy after handling it too much. But he did say that it's like serving brandy in an ale tankard. It's much stronger than what they're used to. But that the new client, Samson, has agents buying anyone who gets sick. And that when they asked why, Samson's people said to make something better of him. So they're going to start selling all of their men who get sick from contact with the red lyrium. Now I've headed back to Skyhold. We're going to have a chat with Cullen about how to disrupt the Red Templars' lyrium supplies.
The papers you found on the red lyrium smugglers were exactly what we needed. We have the location of the Red Templars' main supply of lyrium. You'll never guess where.
Right under Skyhold.
Actually, it's better. Sarnia, you've already dealt with the Red Templars there.
That was Samson's red lyrium supply.
The past tense is apt. We should send some people to sift through what's left. With some luck, we can track the shipments from the quarry to Samson's headquarters.
I have not asked in a while. How goes the hunt for Samson?
We're close. I know it.
If I can help you any further...
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Back at the war table, Liliana has agreed to give Zevron the resources that he needs, and that he can be a useful ally. This results in us getting word from Zevron that he has tracked down the Lord Enzo, and should we say goodbye to our troublesome friend? We're setting Liliana on the quest, so she's going to create a distraction with her agents so that he can eliminate Lord Enzo in peace. We're putting Cullen and his men on investigating the quarry to track down where Samson is hiding. While the time on that was running down, I went back to the Emerald Graves to pick up a few more quests. This particular one is a lover's promise, asking their lover to meet them in a particular area of the map where they will run away together. Unfortunately, when we get to that area, it becomes obvious that they're no longer there. When we investigate a little bit, we see why. Big, giant spider.
One down.
In the spider's loot, we will see a wedding ring. So, unfortunately, the spider killed our lovers. Some of the side quests you go on, you actually can save people and help, and yay, save the day, you're a hero. And others, you got there too late. But while we're killing time, this is another one of the big baddies that's bothering Fairbanks and his people.
taking advantage of the chaos of war.
This note is about the first one that we killed, the sister who was holding everyone hostage in the cave, basically saying that she's fallen and no one is surprised she's falling because she was actually the nice one. In here, while loot hunting, I just found this random cool painting that I think is cool. Hopefully it shows up reasonably well in the YouTube video. The timed quest finished up, so back we go. We have also earned another Inquisition perk. At this point we have an okay amount. We've opened up the extra conversation dialogues and all the different branches. We have a decent bit of agents for each group. I'm going to go with Deft Hands Fine Tools. That's going to allow us to open up extra locks that otherwise we won't be able to open. We've finished our investigations in the quarry, and Cullen wants us to come and talk to him whenever we get a chance.
At your order.
I've been reading the letters found in the quarry. Samson is making red lyrium from people?
Not anymore. Not in that mine.
I knew Samson had fallen, but this... it's monstrous. We have to put an end to him. Look at these orders from the encampment. That armor must give Samson extraordinary power. We may not be able to stop him.
Take away his armor and the lyrium, and Samson's just another man.
I couldn't say how. Templars are trained not to destroy expensive magical equipment. Perhaps Dagna has some ideas. She crafts the impossible every day.
Now to see what Dagna can do for us.
Dagna, what have you learned of Samson?
He should be dead. I mean, you could make a hat out of red lyrium and kill people, especially the wearer. Samson's armor is genius. To do all this and not go insane, he must be resistant. Or he is insane. Or both.
You're not comforting me, Dagna. He's dangerous either way.
Oh, fine. I just need time and tools, people, and red lyrium. For tests, you see?
Is that wise?
Everything is safe if handled properly. And you don't touch it long, or breathe it. I mentioned the hat, right? No hat. Time and resources, Inquisitor. I'll get what you want. No shoe. I have work to do.
Sir Michel's a decent man, and his assistance has been valuable. Hard to believe he was disgraced at all.
The situation was complicated.
Dagna says that in order to find Samson's weakness, she's going to need money for tools, for tests, and rare books. So, of course, we're going to set Josephine on that. We have our results from word from Zevran. He writes that when he heard our agents would create a distraction, he did not expect such a roaring fire. The confusion, of course, was all very lively, but Lord Enzo and his Venatori were decidedly less lively at the end of it. This opens up evading the crows. If you play Dragon Age Origins, Zevran used to be a crow and decided to leave the Order. They really don't like that and want to kill him now. So Zevran has written to Liliana, basically calling in the favor, saying, hey, I killed your guy, now help me out here. Liliana and her agents are going to be planting false leads to buy him some time, hopefully.
Messages are sent, as you asked.
While we're waiting for Dagna to get her results, we can sit in judgment on some of our prisoners.
This was a surprise. After you return from the bogs, we discovered this man attacking the building with a goat. Chief Movran the Under. He feels slighted by the killing of his Avar tribesmen, who repeatedly attacked you first. What should we do with him? Where should he go?
You answered the death of your clan with a goat?
A courtroom? Unnecessary. You killed my idiot son, and I answered, as is my custom, by smacking your holdings with goat's blood.
Don't look at me.
No foul. He meant to murder Tevinters, but got feisty with your Inquisition. A red-headed mother guarantees a brat. Do as you've earned, Inquisitor. My clan yields. My remaining boys have brains still in their heads.
It seems our conflict was accidental, Chief Morvran, but it can't be repeated. I banish you and your clan, with as many weapons as you can carry, to Tevinter.
My idiot boy got us something after all.
Mayor Gregory Dedrick of Crestwood is present for betraying his own constituents. He confesses that, 10 years ago, he flooded Old Crestwood to kill refugees and villagers touched by the Blight. The mayor claims it was to spare the rest of Crestwood, but we only have his word.
He's pleading guilty while claiming he's not. Which is it?
There's no cure for the Blight. But I couldn't convince anyone to leave a sick child or husband behind.
So you herded the infected into one place and flooded Old Crestwood. Were no innocents caught in the waters?
Nearly everyone in the village had the Blight. I swear it. Have mercy. I couldn't tell the survivors I'd drowned their own families to save them. I couldn't.
You lied for 10 years about your crime, then fled after confessing your guilt. For avoiding justice, you are exiled from Ferelden. I doubt the Crown will disagree.
I knew your coming meant the end, one way or another.
You recall Gerion Alexius of Tevinter. Ferelden has given him to us as an acknowledgement of your aid. The formal charges are apostasy, attempted enslavement, and attempted assassination, on your own life, no less. Tevinter has disowned and stripped him of his rank. You may judge the former Magister as you see fit.
Remind me, what's the precedent for nearly ripping apart time at the seams?
I couldn't save my son. Do you think my fate matters to me?
Will you offer nothing more in your defense?
You've won nothing. The people you saved, the acclaim you've gathered. You'll lose it all in the storm to come. Render your judgment, Inquisitor.
Your magic was theoretically impossible, Alexius. I could use people like you. Your sentence is to serve under guard as a researcher on all things magical for the Inquisition.
No execution? Very well.
Mistress Pullen of Sarnia is accused of aiding and abetting the Red Templars in the Dales. She sold a quarry to them for a handsome sum. They used the quarry to grow red lyrium by enslaving townspeople. The only extenuating circumstance, Mistress Pullen was procuring supplies to keep the remaining townspeople fed.
If you'd like to explain your intentions, speak.
My crime was misjudgment. The land sale was meant to bring prosperity in hard times.
Surely it was clear you were selling to the enemy.
We were starving, and they told me they'd reopen the mines. Selling the quarry so hastily was a mistake. I did what I could to rectify it.
I can't let you go free, but I can give you an honest living. Mistress Poulin, I sentence you to work as a scribe of the Inquisition. Half your wages will go to the town of Sarnia.
A drudge on this cold rock? As you command.
Back at the war table, Dagna has forwarded her results on to Cullen, who would like to speak to us at our earliest convenience. We also have a quest for Moravan, the gentleman that we just basically armed and sent to Tevinter. Tevinter's not exactly thrilled with his arrival, so we're putting Josephine on that, and we're going to spin this as we sent them reinforcements.
No red lyrium, no allies, and soon Samson will have no armor, I hope.
You hope?
Dagna's started work on her red lyrium samples, but she needs more details on the armor. We found orders in the mine. They mention Maddox, a name I did not expect to hear.
Samson's letter said something about taking over as the vessel.
Perhaps it's a rank among the Red Templars. It could be a title from ancient Tevinter. Or it's some other role Corypheus has planned for Samson, and Maddox is part of it.
Did he serve with you and Samson in Kirkwall?
Maddox was a mage in Kirkwall's circle. Samson smuggled letters between him and his sweetheart. Eventually, Samson was caught. That's why he was cast out of the Order. Maddox was made tranquil and became a skilled craftsman of magical items. Samson must have rescued him.
I can't believe they made a man tranquil over a few love letters.
The official charge was corrupting the moral integrity of a Templar. Knight Commander Meredith wielded the brand for far lesser offenses, believe me.
Why would Maddox need saving?
When the mages rebelled in Kirkwall, the worst battles took place at the gallows in the circle itself. I thought Maddox had died in the fighting, or was eking out a living on the streets. A hard fate for a tranquil in Kirkwall. Samson must have found him, taken him in.
Having an inside man among Samson's forces would be invaluable, if we could convince him.
I couldn't say. I've lived around Tranquil most of my life, and I've never understood them. It seems Maddox built Samson's armor for him, and maintains it still. Tranquil and Kirkwall needed rare and expensive supplies for their enchantments. Supplies we can trace. I can have our men kick down some doors, Inquisitor. Samson's armor might lead us right to his stronghold.
Back to the war table. Cullen is going to use Maddox as a lead to track down Samson. He's going to be looking for anyone who might be supplying Maddox with things that he would need for the armor, lyrium, dwarven tools, yada yada yada. We're going to wrap things up for this particular segment. In the next segment, we are going to actually advance the plot by going to the Winter Palace. We will get to see the Empress and all the court intrigues of Orlais.